my nephew called me, and he is out of the area, out of the country, and I missed his phone call. I was so bummed. He was using a calling card, and it came up like as a Texas number. But it was still good to hear his voice. Family first. Family is everything. Me and my little sister, we're still going strong from Thanksgiving. Glory be to God, right? Very happy about that. She's coming over, her and my niece, for Christmas Eve. They're actually coming to our church, me and Jared's church, for Jared's Christmas Eve service and his production. So I'm excited about that, and so is Jared. My mom and sister already came this past Sunday, so they're just gonna wait at the house until we're done. But it's just such a blessing and a half almost that it's like I can't believe that we are really finally at this point. I never thought it would happen so soon. I'll say that. It's just been so long, and what I didn't want to happen was that, you know how families come together. It has to be when someone passes or something tragic. I just don't feel relationships are genuine when they come together via a travesty. So I'm glad that we were able to mend our fences over Thanksgiving dinner. But I feel good. Still feel amazing. I did a testimony video at my church, a part of the Christmas production, and seeing it for the first time. It wasn't just myself, it was 3 other individuals. It was heart-wrenching, but it was beautiful because it shows you the power of God's grace, the power of God's love. I was looking at the video like, wow, I went through all of that? Really? Oh my gosh. Because it was amazing how the producer actually filmed it. Usually, you know, when you are doing any type of interview, they ask you a few questions, and you do a couple takes, and it wasn't like that. He asked me a few questions, and he kind of, you know, started asking me what I did for a living, and about schooling, and he's like, okay. It was more so like people in higher positions and educated people, sometimes they're a little too rigid, you know, they're too like professional, and he said, I just want you to talk. Just tell me about yourself. Tell me about your life. And I talked about a variety of things. I've talked about my childhood. I talked about family life. I talked about my parents. I talked about my educational process. I talked about me having, you know, my kids. I talked about my failed marriage and my divorce and how ugly it was. I talked about ministry. I talked about just friendships and my calling and just who I was in general. And literally, what made me stop talking was that he, like I saw him wipe his face, him, and there was another guy standing, and I heard like a tear, and I was like, you know, like, oh, you want to get started now? And he was like, we got it all. And I'm like, what do you mean? They were taping the whole time. So I was like, oh gosh. I mean, I was fine, but I just didn't know how it would be edited. So after that Saturday, when I went to this film studio, I'll say 2 weeks later, people were texting me, calling me, and I would see them in church like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how he edited the video. I don't know what he put in there. And then when my pastor's wife, Pastor Amy, came up to me 2 Saturdays ago, like, Valerie, oh my gosh. I just said, oh Lord. she was like, I cried, I sobbed. I said, all right, Lord, help me to be ready. I don't even know what I said, but so the first night of the production was this past Sunday. There was a service at 5 and we did a service at 7. 5 o'clock, I felt my sister, oh my gosh, she was so depressed. Like, because a lot of the things that, her and my mom didn't know about neither. So, my sister just kept kind of like squeezing me, like she was upset and hurt and sad, and she just kept like rubbing my shoulder, but like, and then my neck, and then was like choking me. I'm like, okay, but I couldn't say like stop it, because she was just in her feelings watching my video. And then I felt my mom's energy, and then they stayed for the 7 o'clock service. So while we're there, we can just leave together when yours done. But the 7 o'clock service, my sister calmed down a little bit, but I felt my mom, like, my mom was so sad, and just like she didn't know, and even, I had to get up because the energy between my mom and my sister, it was just a little too much, and it kind of like brought everything to light. Like, wow, like I've gone through a lot of stuff. Not even so much like super a lot, but just like how horrid the marriage was, and just trying to hold a facade and hold something together that was broke in the beginning. It was like broken glass that you were trying to glue together. The hole's gonna seep out somewhere. Can we get this light, please? And then when I got up and went to go get Coco from our coffee bar, one of the little girls that I used to work in children's church, and she was just standing there staring at me like head up, and I just felt such the peace of God and the love of Christ off of her. I just kept hugging her, and that's when it made me cry. That's when it hit me like, oh wow, God, you have kept me. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. Like you go through so much stuff, and like you just kind of learn to hold it in, and I'm just getting hot. I had to roll out the window. You just kind of learn how to just like cope with it, deal with it. You don't really share everything, because sometimes you don't know if people want to know because they want to genuinely be there for you to pray, or they just want to know your business. So I held a lot of stuff in. A lot of things people just didn't know, still don't know. But it was like a release. And my sister called me late that night after she got home and dropped my mom off. And she said, if you ever had any reservations, know that that's when you were supposed to share your testimony. Even though it's not all of it, but it gave you just enough of how things really were. And it gave me peace to my heart, and I appreciated that. I appreciate my sister. I appreciate my family. I appreciate the hell that I went through, because it made me a stronger person. I feel blessed. Even when I was in mess, I still felt blessed. Because some things that we go through and some things that we're in is because of our own personal choices, and that just happened to be one of them. So enough of sad stuff. Enough of that. My baby is still amazing. He is just like rocking out school, and maybe because in his spirit he knows that God's going to allow him to get accepted into this private high school that's been on our vision board since he's been in 5th grade. I am decreeing and declaring. I'm like, God, just make it work. Just fix it, Jesus. Fix all of it. Make it work for our good in Jesus' name. I think maybe I should wear black pants. Alrighty. See, I'm kind of all over the place. Alright, you guys. Have a good day, and I'll talk with you later. God bless you. Bye-bye.